the kiddie pool. Bellator 286 this weekend. Before we highlight, I believe we're going to talk about 4 of these fights. Any other fights that you want to highlight, buddy, for our listeners?
Sorry, I'm staring at these pretzels.
That's okay.
Eat one.
I'm jealous. I wish I had some pretzels right now. By the way, while you're chewing, this is going down October 1st at the Long Beach Arena in Long Beach, California.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, that's it. So, yeah, I'll highlight 2 fights quick, other than the 4 that we're going to really break down here. One is J.J. Wilson against Vladimir Tokov. This is a great fight. Dead pick'em fight. They're both minus 110. J.J. Wilson is a guy we've talked about on here before. We were all very high on him at featherweight as he was working his way up. Started to struggle with the weight cut. Finally moved up to lightweight in his last fight. Took his first L of his career. And he could certainly take another one here. Vladimir Tokov is no joke. But I think J.J. Wilson may be the more technical guy here and be able to just stay one slight step ahead. So I'm leaning his way, but I'm really interested to see this fight. I'm hoping he can come out on top and still be a factor up at lightweight because I really did love his game at featherweight. And the other one to note is Islam Mamedov, who I thought had left Bellator because we saw him fight over in, help me out, I'm blanking. What is Habib's? Eagle FC, thank you.
Eagle, sorry.
Couldn't think for a second. So we saw him fight over there, but I guess it was just a one-off because here he is back in Bellator. But he is fighting Nick Brown. He is a minus 250 favorite, Islam Mamedov. He is a guy who's been right at the top of the mix at lightweight. He may end up in this lightweight Grand Prix now that we were just talking about. Very possible if he gets a win here tonight. And I expect him to. I think you have to either be extremely well-rounded or very special in one area to beat Mamedov. Otherwise, he is just going to control you all fight, and I think that's probably what happens to Nick Brown here. So those are ones to watch. There's even others. Keone Diggs is on the card. I'm hoping he can get a knockout. There's some other solid fights on the Bellator undercard as well. So it's a pretty good card.
Cool, man. Let us first talk about Juan Archuleta taking on Enrique Barzola in the bantamweight division under the Bellator banner. So you have Juan Archuleta, the Spaniard, fighting out of Sultana, California, 35 years old, 25-4 as a pro, with 11 knockouts on his record. Only 4 losses. He's only been knocked out once. He's only been subbed once. The other 2 losses are decisions. He is coming off of back-to-back losses. By the way, back-to-back losses for the first time in his career. Those losses coming at the hands of Sergio Pedersen and Rafael Stotts. His other recent loss was in September 2019 against Patricio Pitbull. So he's losing against some pretty big names, Mark.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you have across the Bellator cage, Enrique Barzola, El Fuerte, fighting out of Lima, Peru, the 33-year-old. He's 18-6 with 2 draws on his record. Pretty well-rounded guy. 9 decisions, 4 submission victories, 5 knockouts. He also is coming off of a loss against Magomed Magomedov. So both of these gentlemen, Enrique Barzola and Juan Archuleta, are both looking to get back in the win column. Mark, it is your time. Give us your thoughts and ultimately your pick.
Yeah, so these are 2 guys who lost in the quarterfinal round of the Bantamweight Grand Prix, and Bellator picked them up, dusted them off, and said, all right, get back in there against each other, which I love to see. No need to wait for the rest of this Grand Prix to play out. Let's keep these guys going. This one is another one that's almost a dead pick'em. Barzola, surprisingly to me, is a slight favorite. He's minus 120. Archuleta is also minus. He's minus 110. So basically pick'em fight. I really love this fight. As we said, they're both coming off losses, 2 for Archuleta. They have both looked so good at times, though. They're the same size. I think Archuleta is going to be the faster fighter, and he's definitely more dangerous striking-wise in terms of finishing ability. But I have said it before in here, and I will say it again. Enrique Barzola will hang with you anywhere the fight goes. That guy will not be outworked, and he is good everywhere. He's so well-rounded. He will not go away. He will put a pace on you. He's tricky. He's crafty. I loved his last fight with Magomed Magomedov. Even in defeat, I thought he impressed. I'm torn on this one. As you said, you got to be elite to beat Juan Archuleta. The losses are Rafael Stotts, who is the, what is he? I guess he's the interim champion. Sergio Pettis, who is the champion, and Pitbull, who is the 145-pound champion. Those are the losses. So you got to be a stud to beat Juan Archuleta. I like Barzola a lot. I don't know if I think he can finish Archuleta, and I kind of think he has to. Because I don't know if he can do enough to win 2 of these rounds. Like, I can absolutely see him hanging, keeping the fight close, keeping the fight interesting. You're on the edge of your seat, but I think Archuleta being the better athlete, likely being stronger, and probably landing the more powerful shots in exchanges is just going to be edging rounds in the judges' eyes, and it might be hard for Barzola to overcome if he can't finish the fight. So I am going to go with Juan Archuleta, 29-28 UD.
Yeah, tough fight to pick, man. Tough fight to pick. I think the power differential is going to be in favor of Archuleta, who has finished nearly half of his fights, half of his wins by knockout. Yeah, I like your take that I think the more powerful shots are definitely going to come from Archuleta. I'm going to go with you there. I'm going to say Archuleta. I'm going to say Archuleta by unanimous decision. And he almost gets him out of there a couple times. He has him hurt, but Barzola is such a gangster that he's tough to put away. I mean, hey, he's never been knocked out. Ever.
Has he never?
Yeah. So there you have it. Okay.
There you have it.
It's fun and getting more fun because in the featherweight division, Bellator 286, we have Aaron Pico taking on Jeremy Kennedy. Aaron Pico, stud, a highly touted 45er under the Bellator banner. By the way, has been under the Bellator banner exclusively his entire professional career. Aaron Pico, the 26-year-old Californian. He is 10-3 as a professional. 7 knockouts, 2 submissions on his record. He's riding a 6-fight win streak coming into Bellator 286 against his opponent, Jeremy Kennedy, nicknamed JBC, the 30-year-old from British Columbia, Canada. 17 wins, 3 defeats, 1 no contest. He has 6 knockouts and 2 submissions on his record, 9 decision victories. I'd say he's pretty well-rounded. He's coming off of a win against Emmanuel Sanchez back December 3rd of 2021 at Bellator 272. I think this is a tough fight for Kennedy. Mark, what are your thoughts?
So the odds makers agree with you because Aaron Pico is minus 575, which frankly might be too wide. That's a lot. Jeremy Kennedy is plus 425 as the dog. But with that being said, me saying the odds may be too wide, it is Aaron Pico time, and this is the one, and this is where we break through. We've been waiting for the true breakthrough to the elite here. Obviously, as you said, his whole pro career has taken place in Bellator. They gave him some big fights kind of early on, maybe a little too soon, lost him, setback. We're here now. The guy looks unbelievable. If he beats Jeremy Kennedy, it might already be a title shot. If it's not, it's only 1 fight away from a title shot. So this is the one he's got to deliver here. He has looked incredible lately. He's rattled off 6 wins in a row, 2 KOs, 2 subs, a TKO, a decision. He's doing it all. He is now showing the incredible well-roundedness that people expected out of him earlier on. He struggled to blend it earlier on. He would do one or the other and kind of get caught in the transition phases of the fight. Now he looks natural in there. It looks like he's been doing this forever at this point. And this is a big fight. Jeremy Kennedy's no joke, and he's one hell of a wrestler, and he's proven that he can beat a lot of guys. But if Aaron Pico is what we believe he is, and if he is what he's looked to be as of late, that should not matter here, because Pico should be able to deter that wrestling, maybe even shuck it off entirely. And while, Kennedy finds some effective striking at times, he should not be able to hang with an Aaron Pico. And I think Pico is going to stuff shots. I think he's going to start landing clean. I think Kennedy panics a bit because he can't look to the takedown that he's used to looking for if he gets clipped. and I think Pico puts him down. I will say maybe it takes a little bit because Pico is patient, and until he blitzes you, but patient for a bit. I will say Aaron Pico knockout round 3.
Love it. Yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself, and I completely agree. I think Pico is going to be on another level than Kennedy at this event. So I'm going to take, just to be a little bit different, I'm going to say Pico by knockout or TKO round 2 over Jeremy Kennedy. I think that there's just a different level that Pico has gotten to. I mean, 6 fights in a row. I believe he's going to make it 7 this weekend, and that's what it is, man. All right.
I just realized we have not been sharing Omar's picks, so apologies,
Oh, shit.
Omar. But interesting because on this fight, I went with knockout round 3. You went with knockout round 2. Omar's got knockout round 1 for Aaron Pico. So we've covered it there. In the last fight, we both went Juan Archuleta. Omar's coming in as the contrarian. He's going Enrique Barzola via decision. I would have loved to hear that breakdown. Unfortunately, Hurricane Ian's a bitch. And he agreed with you, exact same pick. Angela Lee, 3rd round submission. So
nice.
Going forward here, I'll try to remember to read Omar's picks.
I will too. I'll get him in there. Okay. Let's talk about this co-main event, Bellator 286, going down in the lightweight division. AJ McKee taking on Spike Carlyle. Let us first introduce AJ, the mercenary McKee, the 27-year-old. Man, he's still so young. Fighting out of Long Beach, California. 18-1 as a professional. 6 knockouts, 7 submissions. His one loss, a decision. His most recent one, by the way, which I'll get to. So my man has never been finished. Either way, he's never been knocked out. He's never been tapped. So he's coming off of that loss at the rematch against Patricio Pitbull at Bellator 277 back in April of this year. Now he's getting back into the Bellator cage, looking to get right back on track in the win column. And he's going up against the very tough, very formidable Spike, the Crucifixion Carlyle, the 29-year-old from San Diego, California. He is 14-3 as a professional, 6 knockouts, 7 submissions, riding a 5-fight win streak coming into this event, Bellator 286. Tough one. Mark, I'm guessing AJ is still going to be a favorite, possible big favorite?
Pretty big. He is minus 460. Spike is plus 340.
Wow.
So, AJ McKee makes his move up to 155. He is still talking as if he'd love to fight Patricio again, so we'll see how permanent this move is. But with this now Grand Prix coming up that we've just learned about, wouldn't shock me if they want AJ McKee to be in that, and if he wants to be in that for a chance at the $1 million prize that Bellator does at the end of their Grand Prix. So maybe he is going to be a lightweight for a bit here, so we might have to get comfortable with this. And he's going to start against Spike Carlyle. He is still going to have a 2-inch height and a 2-inch reach advantage on Spike, despite moving up in weight. But Spike is jacked. He is strong. He's an athletic dude. So the size is intriguing in that way. And while, yes, maybe Spike hasn't shown to be at an AJ McKee-esque level, when you're fighting down, and the guy you're fighting down to is an explosive athlete who is dangerous everywhere, you got to mind your P's and Q's, because that's the exact kind of guy that can spring an upset. So AJ's got to fight smart in this fight, and Spike is tough as hell as well. He doesn't go away easy. But I do think AJ is clearly the better fighter here. I think he comes in. I think he's going to up the output compared to his last fight. I'm sure he's not thrilled with that result. He thought he beat Pitbull that night. I'm sure more output would have helped the judges agree with that. So I think he comes in with more output here for sure. I think he kind of picks Spike apart from range, and Spike's going to have to try to turn it into something maybe a bit less clean. But AJ is very good at working his game, at keeping his range when he wants to, closing it when he wants to. And I think he's going to pick Spike apart and either maybe clip him at some point and end up subbing him, like club and sub type thing, or just kind of drub him the whole way for a 30-27. I could see it going either of those ways. But I am going to go with a clear 30-27 win for AJ McKee.
Important to note, I mentioned AJ McKee has never been finished. He's never been knocked out or submitted. Neither has Spike Carlyle. Never been knocked out, never been tapped. So a tall order indeed for AJ McKee going up in weight. That being said, a guy who's 18-1, yeah, I had to still roll with him, even if he's going up in weight. Even if he's going up in weight against a very formidable opponent, like the very, very jacked Spike Carlyle. Yeah, I'm going to say he's just too skilled, and he's too good everywhere. So I agree with you, Mark, completely. I think we're going to see AJ McKee win by UD. I'm not super confident in 30-27 as you are. I'll say 29-28 to make it give us a little wrinkle here.
I debated.
I'll say Spike looks good.
Yeah.
Okay. Omar. Yes. Omar says McKee via decision. McKee via decision. Okay. Same page. We are unanimous. All right. Let's talk about this main event. Bellator 286. Pitbull versus Borics. So Patricio, Pitbull. How do you say his last name? Freire?
Frary, I think.
Frary? Something like that. Nobody ever says his last name.
Frary. Yeah, Frary. Yeah.
This is why nobody says his last name.
Yeah.
Patricio Pitbull, the 35-year-old from Rio Grande, from Brazil. 33-5 as a pro, 11 knockouts, 12 submissions, coming off of a win against AJ McKee, getting his belt back. And he's taking on Adam the Kid Borics from Hungary, the 29-year-old. He is also, like AJ McKee, 18-1 as a professional. His only loss, a submission loss that came at the hands of Darian Caldwell back in 2020. He's on a 4-fight win streak since then. Of his 18 wins, 4 knockouts, 6 submissions, 1 decision, and 1 other. I wonder what that's from. I'd have to look through his record a little bit. Either way.
DQ,
tremendous Borics. Just tremendous, man. He's so good. Yeah, maybe a DQ.
I need to know now.
Yeah,
I can't
it's
continue.
a DQ. It's a DQ for 2014.
Yep. There you go.
All right, man. Give us your thoughts and ultimately your pick on this very exciting featherweight showdown between Pitbull and Adam the Kid.
Okay. Pitbull favored close -145. Borics +120. I am so into this fight. Like, I'm really excited to see Adam Borics get this chance and see what he can do. And I feel like no one cares about this fight. I feel like no one is talking about it. I haven't heard any buzz, I haven't seen anything on Twitter really. Like, this is the quietest fight ever. And I just gave you the odds. It's freaking +120 for Adam Borics. How often do you see someone +120 against Pitbull? Other than McKee, obviously. But, like, I feel like because he fought McKee, now everyone's just like, whatever, the next guy. But, like, this is a good fucking fight. So, I don't know. I can't wait for this thing. It's an interesting one. Adam Borics is a real threat to take out Patricio Pitbull. He's coming in with a 5-inch reach advantage and a 5-inch height advantage. And this dude can fight. As you said, he has 1 loss in a 19-fight career. He is a nasty kickboxer. He can grapple. He just put a beating on Mads Burnell. He took shots, too, in the fight. Don't get me wrong. But he looked great, and he clearly won it. He has every strike in the book. He's got a gas tank. He's tough. He's got a chin. I mean, the man is not to be overlooked in any way as a challenger here. And Patricio, of course, we know how good this dude is. He somehow always turns his size into a non-factor. He makes guys come to him. He can KO you cold. He's a great counter fighter. He can sub you. He can snatch a guillotine out of nowhere. Of course, I'm very impressed by the fact that he was able to take his belt back from AJ McKee, which I never saw coming. However, I don't know if I'm seeing enough out of Pitbull in these last couple fights to feel the same way about him. Like, when I picked AJ McKee to beat him, I was like, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm picking AJ McKee. You know, the first time I'm talking about. And then it happened. But it happened pretty easily. And then I wasn't terribly impressed by Pitbull last fight either. I was more disappointed in the way McKee fought. Mm-hmm. And now I'm almost feeling like, man, I kind of feel like Borics could beat him too. Like similar, I mean, not similar. McKee freaking blitzed him in seconds the first time, but for some of the same reasons, I thought McKee could the first time. I don't know if I'm seeing enough activity out of Pitbull, and maybe he's kind of tricking me because he very intentionally fought that way against McKee because he felt like that's what he needed to do to get a win, and maybe he's going to be more active in this fight.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He could certainly make me sound dumb if he fights differently, but I kind of think Adam Borics surprises everyone here. If Pitbull plays his waiting game and makes Borics come at him, Borics is going to happily oblige and walk forward like the buzzsaw that he is, throwing every friggin' strike in the book. And obviously the trick is to not get caught by a Pitbull counter, which a lot of guys have had problems with over the years. And it's not like Adam Borics is unhittable because he's not. So maybe that ends up being his undoing. And I'm thinking about now, actually, how often Mads was able to land to his body. So that's a concern as well. But I think I'm going to go Borics here and say he can do it. I think that he can even look to grapple if it presents himself and potentially be okay there. I just think he's an interesting challenge for Pitbull. He's so much bigger, and I don't see anyone else picking Borics. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to say maybe Pitbull starts too slow, drops the early rounds to Borics early based on activity, and kind of is down 2-0 and just is not able to come all the way back enough to take the cards. So I will say Borics gets 3 of these rounds and wins a UD to become the new champ.
Well, he has won. He's riding a 4-fight win streak, but all 4 of those fights have come by way of decision victory for Borics.
Yep.
I'll tell you what I don't like. I don't like the age differential between these two guys. Borics is really in his prime, and he's a bigger man, a much bigger man. I mean, Pitbull's 5'6", so at 145 pounds, Borics is a giant. I'm with you, man. I'm feeling like I'm liking Borics. Yeah, I mean,
I didn't expect that.
As amazing as Pitbull is, and he's amazing, man. He's incredibly talented. I just have a feeling about this. I'm gonna go Borics. I want to say he's gonna get him out of there because I feel like maybe I'm being influenced by Pitbull's last loss against McKee, how it just kind of happened like a flash of lightning.
Yeah.
I like the attributes of Borics. He's so much taller. What's the reach? You said the reach before?
5 inches.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, fuck it. I'll go with it. Let's say TKO round 2 for Borics.
Wow.
Okay, Omar says Pitbull by knockout round 2.
It's another one where I would have loved to hear his analysis as to why.
Oh, man. All right. Okay.
But yeah, I am very intrigued to watch that fight.
Yeah, man. Bellator 286, October 1st. It's going down, California. Let's go.
Yeah, so you're actually
all right, one more, buddy.
We're